What are those things up ahead? Oh my, bird statues. Oh, it broke. I do hope no one saw that. This building is so big. It's just like a castle. Let's fix the memory in the Scarecrow and then invite ourselves in, shall we? This gun. Anyway, let's get started restoring this story, shall we?
A mechanical soldier sleeps amidst the detritus of a castle storehouse. Time has no meaning here. A minute is as an age. Until the day he meets the boy. The exhausted boy can only mutter 3 simple words. Let me rest. Seeking to help, the man begins rooting around to prepare a makeshift bed. As he continues to dig, a discarded weapon suddenly activates. Enemy forces sighted. The man manages to assemble a crude resting place from the storehouse junk. The boy wearily makes his way to the bed and manages a heartfelt thanks. After studying the man for a moment, he begins to ask him questions. The man explains he was unable to carry out orders and discarded as defective. The boy responds that as his disease has grown worse, he too has been cast aside. The name the man gives is that of the first model of clockwork soldiers. I was also a first once, says the boy. First in line to the throne, but no more. You and I are much alike, says the boy with a sad smile. Weary of talking, the boy finally falls asleep. The man simply sits, keeping the boy's peaceful expression in the corner of his eye.
This is the story of a gun-wielding mechanical soldier. I suppose these are memories of when he first met the boy with the staff. Well then, let's head over to the castle. This isn't a terribly welcoming atmosphere.
Think you can stop me? Ha!
What a goddamn pain. It's the privilege of youth to move forward by breaking everything in your path. Don't you think it's about time we get a move on?
Think you can stop me? Ha!
I have no time for this.
What a goddamn pain. It would be much easier if we could just crash through those awful black barriers. Now this is an odd room. Well, let's keep going. It's a waterfall of sand. Looks like the path goes through it. Maybe there's a way to stop the flow. Is that a switch? The sand stopped. Oh, how lovely. Now we can move past it. There's a switch here, too. Give it a push. Ah, this one opens up the first path. How clever. The path is open now. Found you, Mr. Scarecrow. Let's get to restoring this memory.
The cold room burdens the boy, and his condition worsens. The man looks about and sees what appears to be a bottle of medicine. But upon taking it in hand and looking at the label, he realizes it is actually a weapon of poison gas.
We ready here or what?
I have no time for this.
The man continues to search for medicine that might aid the boy. It seems the storehouse expands beyond the junk pile pressed against the wall. He retrieves a bottle from the shelf and returns to the bed where the boy waits. The boy looks at the man's gift and chuckles. "Empty bottles won't cure me, I'm afraid," he says as the man stares at him blankly. "Still," says the boy. He suddenly stands, as if a thought has come to mind. The boy places a candle in the bottle, turning it into a small lamp. He then begins to sing in a small, quiet voice. By the power of his will does the hero draw his sword. To stop the mean advances of the darkness in the world. He will use this light to lead away the people from fear's horror. It is the song of a hero who challenges evil in order to save his people. The lamp flickers warmly as the man thinks. "Thank you," he says finally. Those words should not have existed in the man, and yet somehow they did. The boy's shocked stare slowly becomes a smile, bright enough to last a lifetime. In the corner of a frigid room, these two companions are comforted by the same warmth.
I imagine you're getting used to this by now. Wonderful. Let's keep it up.
We ready here or what?
Your numbers don't mean squat. Think you can stop me? Ha!
What a goddamn pain. I have no time for this.
These stairs look terribly unsafe. It does seem like an effective way to keep intruders out, though. The cage is just filled with mysteries, isn't it? Oh, it's the monster that attacked us earlier. Are you going to chase it? It's almost like it's calling to us. It's not here. Well, let's take care of the scarecrow for now.
Soldiers' voices drift in from outside. The kingdom has once again declared war. The boy looks at the man and opens his heart. He once lacked the courage to stand against his father and had stayed complicit. But now he burns to stop the king and protect his people from the horrors of war. The passion in his eyes is evident. The man breaks through the door, and the boy follows after.
Think you can stop me? Ha!
I have no time for this.
As a divine light shines behind him, the king glares down at the two interlopers. In a bold voice, the boy shouts up at the king. "By my name as the firstborn, I propose this war be ended." In that moment, he is just like the hero of his song. With a sneer, the king looks to the clockwork soldier and says. The man freezes, but he cannot disobey his master, for that is how he was programmed. With a shaking hand, he readies his gun. The boy stares straight at the man from the end of the barrel. Unable to resist his orders, the man's finger hovers over the trigger. In a final, desperate move, the man shuts down his own motor circuits. His finger lets go of the trigger, and he falls to his knees before the boy. It is the first time he has resisted orders of his own volition, all to save the boy. With an animalistic cry, the king rises up before the pair.
Think you can stop me? Ha!
The king's roar brings soldiers running as he demands they tear the traitors apart. The man seizes the boy's hand, and they begin to run from the castle. For the first time in his existence, the man finally has a will of his own.
A memory of war. So that's why that poor child was driven from his country. The king wished for control, while the prince prayed for peace and happiness. They were both thinking of their country. So why did it have to end up so? Why is there a person in a place like this?
Excuse me, miss. I've been waiting here for a really long time. But my mommy still hasn't come. Oh, I miss my mommy so much, and I was hoping you could put me in that scarecrow like you did with Mr. Monster.
I'm sorry. Mama can't help you. Let's be off.
We ready here or what?
Your numbers don't mean squat.
What a goddamn pain.
That old man has been expelled from the story. I feel terrible, but there's nothing we can do for him. We must be careful not to end up lost like him.
We ready here or what? I have no time for this.
Your numbers don't mean squat.
It seemed like that old man knew about you and the monster. And he spoke like a child. I wonder what happened to him. This is the last part of the mechanical soldier's story. Let's see how the memory ends, shall we?
The escapees arrive at the town outside the castle and find people in a panic over the impending war.
We ready here or what? I have no time for this.
Somehow, the two managed to escape beyond the borders of the kingdom. Looking back on their former home, they each make an oath. The boy swears to travel the nation as its prince and bring an end to the war, while the man promises to guard the prince until his dying moment. Together, they will sever the marionette strings the kingdom has bound them to. With determination in their hearts, they take their first steps into the future.
They both fought, the boy for peace, and the machine for him. That must be how their memories were intertwined. This is the third fragment. Prayer, of all emotions, I believe this one might be especially human. It is a heart that fills in the blanks of a vague future. Well, do you feel anything different? My, that's wonderful. Let's keep this up and get those fragments back. Then your wish can come true too. It's been awful and dusty for the most part, but the air here is nice and clear. Do you see that? The air is so clear here, fish even swim in it. That's actually quite odd now that I think about it. Looks like we found our first memory in this area. Oh my, this looks like a katana. Maybe we'll hear a story about a samurai. Let's have a look, shall we?
A man sits alone. Though he speaks, the target of his words is unseen. To this invisible listener, he offers praise for a task well handled. His eyes narrow. He hesitates. Then, his voice a rasp, he murmurs an instruction. On to the next. The target of his words is revealed behind the scrim of a dividing wall. She also sits alone. In her hand rests a small scroll adorned with a face. Slipping the scroll into the folds of her robe, she stands and makes her response. Understood. Thick clouds hang low against an ominous sky. The castle town bustles as people move to and fro. A family traveling the road catches her eye. The child smiles brightly, her eyes sparkling. The darkness of the woman's own life could never know such pleasant light. Brushing aside her melancholy, she makes to leave town. A sudden glimpse of silver catches the woman's eye as an assassin appears before her. A thin razor of a smile crosses her face. She knows this is exactly where she belongs. You should leave before I change my mind. Come. She claims the assassin's life before body can meet Earth. In the silence that follows, she muses on her life. She walks a path of blood, a solitary path, far from family or comfort. Had she ever smiled as that child did? Could she? Such thoughts swirl in her mind as the woman considers a life she knows she will never have.
Well, it seems this tale involves a female assassin. I wonder what the secret to her strength is.
We ready here or what?
Your numbers don't mean squat.
I have no time for this.
Do they just want to slow our progress? Or is there some deeper goal? Sometimes I wonder what those dark foes are trying to accomplish.
Think you can stop me? Ha!
What a goddamn pain.
That's a large gate. We certainly won't be able to lift this on our own. What a good eye you have. Here, let Mama take care of that for you. There now. That wasn't so hard. A collapsed bridge? Oh dear. The Scarecrow is so close. There must be a way to get past this. Wait here, child. Mama will take a quick peek around. Oh, but this is a bother. Who even lowered the water in the first place? I do wish these levers weren't quite so heavy. Right then. 1 down and 3 to go. I think our mission is going quite well so far. I just hope those two find happiness. Wonderful! That did the trick. Now we can cross to the other side. That certainly did take a lot of time. Well, let's get back on our feet and continue with the restoration, shall we?
The girl stirs from a thin sleep, her features weary as a woman thrice her years. Her life is an unending blur of training that continues without mercy or pause. Bones creak, flesh stings, pain is her constant companion. Yet she forces herself down the hall all the same. When she arrives at the garden, a bellowing roar orders her forward. Coming, she replies in a voice devoid of all feeling. She readies an apology for her tardiness, knowing full well it will not be heard. As suspected, the man cuts off her words and begins to berate her without pause. You will learn to honor punctuality, girl. You are a tool of our master, and a tool is of no use if it is not present when needed. Thus begins another day of the girl's deadly training.
We ready here or what?
I have no time for this.
Your numbers don't mean squat.
Her family has served their lord's clan for generations. When the lord decides an enemy needs to die, her family carries out the sentence. Her path had been laid before she was even born. The path of a trained killer. There is no freedom for her, no thought of a different way. The path simply was. The woman does not bemoan her fate, for she has never known another. Yet, when she thinks of the things she will never have, she feels a terrible sadness. But she presses on regardless, leaving such distractions behind. At some point, she realizes that rain has begun to fall. Through the droplets, she spies a castle with a dark and enigmatic aura. Soon she finds a lone guard standing before a gate. Moving without sound, she looses her sword. With death delivered, she sheathes her blade and presses on.
Her whole life had been decided before she was even born. It's rather a tragedy, don't you think? I'm sure you must have a birthplace as well. A place you...
Think you can stop me? Ha!
What a goddamn pain.
Your numbers don't mean squat. Think you can stop me? Ha!
I have no time for this. What a goddamn pain.
Do you hear that? That's... It escaped again. What's that sound? Oh! The stairs make music when you step on them. Do you think that monster was playing the steps? That's a rather cute thing to do, don't you think?
The woman moves ever deeper into the castle in search of her target. Her mission is to kill the son of an enemy lord and halt his possible succession. The enemy army values blood. If the successor were to die, chaos will inevitably follow. Slaying the son will create confusion, giving her own lord an opening for attack. She passes through the corridors and moves toward a reception room. Outside, the rain falls in endless gray sheets. A child sits alone, his frame made smaller by the size of the room. She recognizes the boy's face from her scroll. Without a word, she draws her sword and points the tip at the child's throat. Yet he simply stares at the cold steel, making no move to escape. As the woman studies the child's haggard face, she realizes something. This is no son of a lord, but instead a girl frocked in boy's clothing. The woman asks her target why this is. As if a dam has burst, the girl suddenly lets fly with a torrent of grievance. I wish this house and this entire nation would fall.
I shall take care of that. What a goddamn pain.
Your numbers don't mean squat.
The girl begins to tell her tale. I am not but a puppet who dances at my father's tune. I'm no child to him, merely a tool to be used. I even denied my own heart and took false gender in order to fulfill my role. And as this house's tool, I live only to be killed. So please, just bring this to pass. End me. The girl's eyes turn to rest on the woman. This is who I used to be. Set to walk a path before I had even drawn breath. The woman's sword wavers. Her hand hesitates. Outside, the rain falls as if it was trying to blot out the very earth itself. And yet somehow, it feels quiet.
The next memory should be the last one in this area. I wonder what that monster wants. And those other dark foes, for that matter.
We ready here or what?
I have no time for this.
What a goddamn pain.
I shall take care of them.
What a goddamn pain.
I think the last scarecrow in this area is inside this building. Oh my! Again! What terrible timing these things have. Mama will open this straight away. There. Can you get through now? This next memory should restore the weapon. The scarecrow is right there. Brave faces now.
The only sound is the rain. A long moment passes. The woman sheathes her blade. She then asks the bewildered girl, "Did you mean it when you said you wish your house would fall?" Shaking, the girl nods. The woman responds, "Understood." Suddenly, the sounds of an army clattering into place emerge behind them. A score of soldiers bursts into the reception room. The woman's face is the very picture of composure. "Come then," she whispers.
I shall take care of them.
Your numbers don't mean squat.
I have no time for this.
The girl runs over and takes her hand. Why had she done this? The sound of the rain begins to fade. People cannot choose the station of their birth. One can scarcely even choose their own manner of death in this violent, fleeting world. But perhaps one can choose to let another live. I was a tool of my house who carried out her role. My hands are stained with sins beyond counting. I doubt this will absolve me of my actions, but it might make a nice gift to bring with me into hell. She can no longer hear the rain. Tears roll down the girl's cheeks, and on the woman's face is something almost like a smile.
Perhaps freedom, in the truest meaning of the word, never existed to begin with. We are bound by heavy chains, which closes many doors, and one often lacks the will to choose from the remaining options. Anger. This is the fourth fragment that you've lost. What is your anger meant for? Is it for a person? The world? Your fate? Or perhaps yourself?